like the audio ain't going again. God dog it. All right. Sorry about that. Audio was a little off, but I got it updated now. Sorry about that. Since people was on here, they jumped off. But we're gonna be. Well, let me reintroduce myself. This is C. Michael Stanley, your host of Keenan Sports, broadcasting live from Keenan Speaks Network, founded and operated by my lovely wife, Tawanta Stanley. So I'm excited to be back with you guys. Thank you for joining me again last week. And we're going to be back to our weekly Friday Live at 5 shows. Last week we discussed the NCAA Final Four, men's and women's bracket. So we'll see how I did with my predictions on that. And then we'll look at the NBA play-in tournament, because that's coming up real soon. But we have a few days left in the NBA schedule, and there's still 14 seeds up for grabs. 14 seeds up for grabs within these next few days. So, I had broke here, and I saw my mic wasn't working. I just had to turn it on. It was off. But I got it working. But I broke right here, and I would say I'm not one or two ball horn, but toot toot. Last week's NCAA picks. Out of the first 4 games, on the men's side and the women's side, I got all of those picks correct. Every last pick I got correct. I had UConn with the win on the men's side and Michigan with the win on the men's side. And then on the women's side, I had South Carolina beating UConn on the women's side and UCLA with the win on the women's side. So my semifinal picks were 100% accurate for men's and women's brackets on last week, the Final Four. Then we went into the men's final, and I did pick Michigan over UConn. So that was accurate. But my only miss was USC over UCLA. UCLA, man, they came out. That defense was impeccable. Their seniors just really came in with a lot to prove, and they played a good game and just really hit USC in the mouth real quick. And I feel like it was over before even halftime. So shout out to those ladies at UCLA. Great job. Shout out to the Michigan young men. Great job. Again, I had 5 out of the 6 picks right for the NCAA Final Four men's and women's brackets. So, toot toot. And I can't even lie. I didn't watch everybody play, but I watched quite a few of them play. So before I made those picks, so I was confident in probably a majority of my picks on last week for the Final Four for the men's and the women. I saw out of the USC and UCLA women were going to meet. But I did put this disclaimer out there that some people were saying USC, UConn, whoever wins may lose the next game because that was such a heated battle. It almost seemed like that could have happened. You know, Gino had a little run-in with Don Staley. That was a little weird. So maybe they exerted a lot of energy to beat UConn and went into the championship game and fell flat. So I did, mention that last week. I didn't say that was going to happen, but I saw and heard other people saying that could happen, and that's what happened. And then Michigan, man, I just felt like Michigan was just talented from top to bottom. UConn well coached, got some great players, but I feel like Michigan talent just kind of outweighed everybody in the end. So the Michigan men, like I knew that was going to be a win for them. All right, so let's look at the NBA where we're looking at right now. NBA where we're looking at right now. So right now, we're just going to look at the play-in only. We're going to look at the play-in only. So right now, as it stands in the Western Conference, we have the Trailblazers at 9 and the Warriors at 10. I'm almost certain the Warriors are locked in at 10, looking at their record. Yeah, they'll be locked in at 10. So the Warriors will be 10. Now, between the Trailblazers and the Clippers, that could shift a little bit. Because they're pretty close. They're 1 game off from each other, and we got 2 games left. So that could shift. But right now, as it stands, I'll take the Warriors over the Trailblazers and their play-in matchup. And then they got the Suns at 7. I'll take the Clippers over the Suns and their play-in matchup. So I'll take the Warriors over the Trailblazers if that holds, and the Clippers over the Suns if that holds. But there is a chance that the Clippers and Trailblazers could swap. And that Clippers-Warriors game could be a barn burner. So there's a chance those teams could swap. So we'll see what happens there. On the east side, we have the Hornets, man, they're in 9, but they may not stay at 9 because them and Philly got the same record. Again, we got 2 games left. The Magic has 1 game over them at 7, but then the Magic are only 1 game behind the Hawks at 6. There's a lot of shuffling that could happen. But as is, I'm definitely taking them Hornets over the Miami Heat. I know I'm a Florida boy. I know that. I get that. But I've never really been a Heat fan anyway. But the Hornets, I don't know if y'all been watching them. LaMelo Ball, Colin Nipple, man, them boys been hooping. Them boys been hooping. I can't think of the one player they got. He's pretty young too. I think he came out of Arkansas. Brandon Miller, I believe is his name. Man, they hooping. They hooping. The Hornets are scary. Scary. Too young. I don't think they're going to make a deep run. But they're going to win this play-in game and get it. And I believe they'll get into the playoffs because they got to win now. But then they got to win. Then they got to win against a loser out of 7 and 8. So right now it's the Magic and the Sixers. Of course, game by Orlando Magic. Just heard some news about Joel Embiid that wasn't too good. So give me the Magic, and then the Sixers have to be Hornets. I believe the Hornets will beat the Sixers. So I had the Magic at the 7th seed and the Hornets at the 8th seed from the play-in tournament. Man, the Hornets been hooping. The Magic have started to turn around. The Magic been up and down all year. That's my team. You know, they've been worrying me all year. I got to be honest. I feel like it might be time for a coaching change. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think the Magic will get into the playoffs. I think they'll get into the playoffs. But if they win that first matchup, that's going to give them the 7th seed, and it's going to put them right against a Celtics team that's just welcomed back Jason Tatum. And that's going to be a tough out. That's going to be a tough out for us. Man, even if we move up to the 6th seed, that can possibly put us against the Knicks. That could be a tough out, too. So the Magic may get in and be done in the first round. I hate to say that. But we'll talk more about that on next week. But play-in tournament, give me the Warriors. Give me the Clippers. And I'll take the Warriors over the Suns. So I'll take the Clippers and end up with the 7th seed, and the Warriors end up with the 8th seed. And I don't believe the Suns or the Trailblazers can beat those teams, even if it gets switched up a little bit. So again, Clippers taking the 7th seed, Warriors taking the 8th seed, and then on the east side with the play-in, either the Magic will take the 7th seed, and the Hornets will take the 8th seed. As is. But next week we'll talk about this a little more because, the play-in tournament actually starts on the 14th. So we'll have a clearer picture, and the 17th is actually going to be the last game. The 17th is going to be the last game. So we'll already know next week when we come back, we'll know who the 7th seed is on both sides, I believe. So we'll just have to figure out the 8th seed. Again, I'm taking the Hornets and the Warriors to claim those spots. And then the playoffs start right there the following day. So I'll make some first round previews, maybe some picks, and then we'll come back, every week as we get through these playoffs and the NBA. I love the NBA playoffs. Not a lot of people do for some reason, but I love the NBA playoffs. I've been an NBA fan since 1992 when Shaquille O'Neal came to my beloved Orlando Magic. He made me a basketball fan. He made me a Magic fan. Shout out to Big Shaq Diesel. A lot of people say I favor him as well. All right, so we'll see what happens with the play-in. It's going to be interesting, and we'll be back at it. Thank you. I see my lovely wife is on. God bless you guys. So we'll be back at it next week to see what's happening in the play-in, see what's going to be their final matchup, and then start lining up, getting ready for the playoffs on the 18th. So thank you guys so much. This is your host, C. Michael Stanley, King of Sports, King of Speaks Network. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you next week.